92.5 FM.
All right, welcome in. The new drug today is a sort of midweek edition of the program. Jaguar Talk coming up. There is news in the world of sports involving the tush. How many times in my career have I ever said that? I mean, I'm 38 years into this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever started a show with saying, let's talk about the tush. I mean, I've spent much of my career not going there.
Tush expert, Frank Frangie.
So the tush department got good news. We'll certainly talk about that today on the program. All kind of fun stuff to get to today. Glad you're with us.
Nothing ever goes wrong for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Not these days.
I mean, boy, they are charmed. They had to wait a while to have this, but boy, it just seems like everything goes right for the Philadelphia Eagles.
It really does. And for people that don't know, the tush push did not get voted out. And I love the fact, by the way, I loved the Eagles social team. Didn't you love that? Did they pretty much
put like an Instagram post that was like moving forward or whatever the hell?
Pushing on.
Yeah.
You know, that was awesome. That was give them credit. That was their way to say, screw you guys, wasn't it? I mean, the heck with you guys, you know?
I will say, I don't get why other teams don't do it. Is Jalen Hurts like that much of a freak athlete with it? Because it can't be the guys pushing. Well, anybody's got a tight end and a running back that can run into the quarterback.
Well, I'll tell you this. One thing Baselli said when we did the broadcast together, and Jeff too, and football players, he is a 500-pound squatter. Now that's extreme now. That's part of it. I don't know football as well as the football guys enough to break down that obviously if you double team the zero technique, I don't know all that stuff, but a guy squatting 500 pounds?
Yeah.
That's pretty.
But I have to think other NFL starting quarterbacks.
Or you put a tight end back there. You put a tight end back there, right?
Right. Maybe that's why the Jags signed Hunter Long.
Maybe that's what it is. You know, you're always looking for reasons. Yeah. That's one thing I like about you. But anyway, so the tush push lives on, and my recommendation from the Lions, they pulled back. What are they doing?
Yeah.
What were they doing?
By the way, I commend the Jaguars for voting to keep the tush push in. Yeah. I think it's one of those things that if you were truly going to make it about the push and the pull, then I think you'd have an argument. It was such a blatant targeting of the Eagles. And, and that's the thing. Like, if you can start showing other examples, what I would say to, like, the Packers and the league, if the league really does want it removed, is really find examples of players being pulled and pushed 15 yards down the field. And then I think you'd have more of a compelling argument of we need to get this out of the game. But it's always felt like a direct attack against Philadelphia's offensive success. And I think that's ultimately why it turned enough teams off to vote it down, because it was close. I think it was 22-10 is what they're reporting.
And you needed
was
24.
The vote. They needed 24, so it was close. And the Jaguars obviously weren't the deciding vote, but they were one of the 10. They were in the minority. But I like the fact of we're not going to punish a specific team for doing something well, and until you can come with us with more examples from around the league of this happening, then it's not broad enough yet to warrant just the elimination of it.
Yeah, and by the way, the fact that 22 teams wanted it out is more wanted out than in. But because the rule's there, you need 75% to change the rule.
They should have just come directly out and said this is more about getting back to where the game was before 2005, and they should have never made it about the tush push. That was the fail there, is if the people that really wanted it out had just said, hey, we've been doing this for 20 years, but we feel like we now need to revert back. The officiating is better. I mean, they could make this case. The officiating's better. They're going to be able to police this better than they could in 2005, because that was the reason that the rule got eliminated, is officials were complaining of, we just can't see that. We have to see so many other things in a play, and it's hard for us to pick up a deliberate push or a deliberate pull when these collisions are going on at obviously a very high rate of speed, and you're 5 or 6 seconds into a play. As an official, you may not be in position to see that. And so they took it out. But, they should have approached it with, we're going back to a basic tenet of football. instead of targeting Philadelphia.
Mike and I was on the Jaguars Today with Mike today, and we were laughing about it a little bit. He completely disagrees with you and me about the other talked about proposal that never happened because the Lions pulled it off the table, and that was in some capacity have seeding in such a way that a team with a better record might be seeded higher and therefore have a home game versus a division winner. Mike completely disagreed. He thinks the division winner should always have a home game, which is what Mike Tomlin said too when he was interviewed today. He's on the competition committee. I tell you what, maybe I'm nuts. I firmly believe. Look, the 7 teams in the playoffs should be the 4 division winners, no matter what their records are, and the next 3 best records. So I think we're all in agreement on that. If you win a division, you're in the tournament, and nobody debates that. And I'm fine with that. But I still have a hard time. And again, Jacksonville's a team that got in and had a home game and beat the Chargers probably because they were at home with a 9-8 record. So I believe me, it's benefited my team. The current structure benefits my team and did just 2 years ago, and because it's not a strong division, might benefit my team again. So I'm not saying this because of my team. The Jags benefited from the current structure, but I still have a hard time seeing how a 9-8 team is seeded higher than a 13-4 team. I do. It's hard for me to.
And we
other
would
than the
hate
fact
it
we've always done that.
if it was the reverse.
Of course.
If the Jaguars had just gone 13-4. But finished in second place to the NFC South champion, let's just say it was Houston, who went 14-3, and Jacksonville had to go to play the Dolphins, who won the East hypothetically at 8-9.
Yeah,
you'd be furious about that.
It just doesn't.
I mean, I would say this. I think if you just take your subjectivity out of it and you just look at what's fair for everybody, I think it would be fair for everybody to seed them, based on their record, 1 through 7. And if you win a bad division, that doesn't necessarily guarantee a home game.
And more times than not, it's going to be 9-8 over 10-7. It's not going to be 8-9 over 13-4 very often.
Right.
So
last year in the NFC was a fluke a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, but that was the Lions pulled it off the table, so it's not even being discussed. So, but fun stuff in the NFL. Anyway, Sports and Court's gonna be really fun today. The Zakai Ziegler story that you found kind of late in our show, really, and astounds me. Yeah, I'll give you credit, Hayes. You warned that someone was going to say, let me just keep playing. I mean, if Zakai Ziegler wins that, and I got so many questions for Brett Hastings, who's going to be here in a minute on Sports and Courts. If Zakai Ziegler wins the right to play next year, couldn't he win the right to play 5 more years? Which is what you.
That's my thought.
You said it. You have said it from day one, and I thought it's one of those things where you're kind of like sometimes your brain checks out and you comes over here and you need a lobotomy and you say this crazy stuff
3 times a week at least,
minimum. But but joking aside. You said at some point someone's going to ask to just keep playing college. And I said that may never happen. Again, legally, if he wins this case, doesn't he sue again next year?
Yeah, then that domino has fallen, and you just legally you move on to the next domino.
Yeah.
Which in this case I think would be suing for permanent eligibility.
Just to keep playing. And so but anyway,
the money is just too big. That's the problem. And that's why this whole thing has started is the money got so big. It's created all of this, but you can't. I don't think you can. And Brett will know obviously way better than I will. But it just from a common sense standpoint makes sense that somebody should have a case to say, look, why should I age out at 24 of an enterprise where I can make $2 to $4 million a year doing this? How is that fair to me?
Which once upon there used to be a mandatory retirement age that got voted out years ago for just general people. Which leads, by the way, the Zakai Ziegler situation leads to the second thing we're going to talk to Brett about, and that is this College Sports Commission mandating that teams not sue. Well, one will fit the other because can you really have? Has that ever happened before? Has anybody ever signed a deal that says we agree not to sue? I guess they have, but you know what I mean. So it's going to be a fascinating Sports and Courts, and it comes up in just a bit. Brett Hastings will join us in studio. We'll certainly talk about that. I guess some other things. I want to talk about Travis Hunter. We everyone's talked about it, and we've guessed and thought and wondered, but we haven't really broken down on this show, and we're all guessing. what is it really going to look like? I did it with Mia. You and I are both on with Mia during the Duval Rundown, different days to this week. But what is it really going to look like when that Carolina game has ended? And I know you did this the crosstalk with the boys a minute ago, the handoff. But when the Carolina game has ended, when it's 4-12 on week 1, and we're walking off the field downtown, how many plays will he really have played? I really want to get into that, and we're guessing.
Right. And let's go off the hypothetical of it's a traditional NFL game. It's 24-17.
That's exactly right. Correct. And based on a normal NFL game that's close in the fourth quarter. And so I want to get to that a little. I want to talk about that. I'm going to ask you something crazy. I got a lot of stuff today on the program. Now, this will be me needing the lobotomy, okay? But indulge me for a second. Are there any fans – when Florida won back-to-back national championships in basketball, it didn't do anything to take the luster off football because, oh, by the way, they were doing it at football at the same time.
That's right.
You couldn't steal any luster from the Tebow Urban Gators no matter how many titles you won. Well, now they're not. If Todd Golden goes and does it again, while in the football 7-5, and they fire the coach, don't fire the coach, whatever they do or don't do with the coach, either way.
But they're in flux.
Yeah, in flux. Yeah. I want to hold your thought on that, but it's interesting, isn't it? We've not had that. We've never had really good Florida basketball in the face of mediocre Florida football. We've never. The other thing, the 14 team was really good,
right?
But it didn't sustain.
The other part of it too is while Billy Donovan was considered elite, I don't know that anybody ever thought Billy Donovan is the best coach in college basketball. You still had Krzyzewski, Izzo, Bill Self, Roy Williams at the time.
He was on the ballot.
He was
not ahead of those guys. I agree.
Florida may have a guy in Todd Golden that by this time next year, he may be considered the best coach in college basketball if he wins it again.
And that's a great point.
That's what it would take. But if, to your point.
And because in addition to that, we don't have the superstar college basketball coaches anymore. Danny Hurley's one. He's a superstar coach. Tom Izzo's still there. But we don't have this litany of Roy Williams and Coach K and Bill Self and 10 of them or 8 of them, Calipari and Pitino.
Boeheim was still very relevant when Billy D was winning
There was a big conglomeration. Today's Calipari isn't yesterday's Calipari. Today's Pitino isn't yesterday's Pitino. Pitino and Calipari are still very good coaches. Pitino had a very good team last year. Cal made a really good run last year. But they're not the rock stars they were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So we'll talk. So we got a lot of fun topics. All right. So we got a lot of fun stuff I want to get to, but we're looking forward to both stories. So we're gonna check in with Brett Hastings by phone. He's not going to be in studio. We'll do it by phone. But some big stories coming up in the world of college athletics. Sports and Courts is next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
I did not see this one coming.
Radio play-by-play is like stepping in a theater in your mind.
As good as it gets.
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
Just when you thought we couldn't bring you more, Keon Atlantic is here with a brand new store. We have the same great team to treat you well. With new savings during our grand opening sale. Keon Atlantic is here with the new store. Shop our best offers and largest selection yet. Save big during our grand opening sale. Is there something for everyone on our lot? You bet. If you're ready to experience something new, the all-new Keon Atlantic is ready for you. Your perfect ride is a visit away. Online at KeonAtlantic.com. Keon Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection.
On Memorial Day, all of us at Harold and Harold join you and our community to pause and remember the sacrifice that fallen heroes made for this country and honor them for all they have given us. Offices Jacksonville. An out-of-town lawyer could rent space and say they have an office here, but how does that help you after an accident? Harrell & Harrell is here for nearly 40 years, and we have the local relationships you need if you've been injured. Call Harrell & Harrell today. Offices Jacksonville.
Enhance your home with Renewal by Anderson's superior craftsmanship and timeless design. Right now, buy 2 windows or patio doors and get the third at 60% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires May 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
AA Automotive helps keep your vehicle in dependable and safe condition. Call Sam, Harry, or Joe, and they'll check your brakes, tires, fluids, electric, and motor, so your ride runs smooth on the road. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
When you want to be heard, send your opinion to the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
Thank you for believing in me when the bosses didn't give me a chance.
641-1010. No texting and driving. Get your thoughts heard on 1010XL.
Plumbing problems? AC not blowing? Septic tank doing whatever septic tanks do? Don't call 3 different companies and play contractor roulette. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. Waddle over to duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the duck.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Hacker here, and let's talk sincerity. You know, there's a big difference between someone tossing you a casual, hey, how you doing, and genuinely asking, no, really, how are you doing? At Awaken 180, I felt that sincerity every single week while dropping 122 pounds, and I still feel it every month in free maintenance for life. Sure, seeing that number plunge on the scale was incredible, but what truly pushed me across the goal line? My amazing Awaken 180 coaches. They coached me up like I was prepping for draft day, always in my corner, sincerely invested in my success, and check this out. I'm going on a cruise in a couple of weeks, complete with formal night. Now, normally, cameras and I have a strained relationship. I hated taking pictures, but thanks to Awaken 180, the camera and I have made peace. No more ducking photos. Want results you can actually keep? Do what we all did and call 844-346-1800 or book online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Swing into the hottest party of the summer. Join First Tee Door Florida at the Yards on June 12th for the Summer Soiree Baja Beach Bash. We're bringing the vibrant spirit of Cabo San Lucas to the First Coast for an evening of family-friendly fun. Enjoy live music, craft cocktails, golf games, raffle prizes, and delicious Mexican-inspired cuisine from Taco Lu. Golf, fiesta, and philanthropy, all to support the impactful programs of the First Tee. Visit firstteenorthflorida.org/summer soiree to secure your tickets today.
Spring is sprung, and so have the bugs. It's Hayes Carline and my friends at Kingfish Pest Control offer an exclusive $99 spring special. That's right, your initial pest control service is just $99. And if you call today, they'll include a free one-time mosquito treatment. Kingfish Pest Control is family-owned, 5-star rated with no binding contracts and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call them now to book your service. Only at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now time for Sports and Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
All right, Brett Hastings does join us now. He's going to join us by phone. He's a busy lawyer. But look, I'll give Hayes Carline credit on this one, Brett. He said the day's going to come when people are just going to want to keep playing college athletics for 10 years. This is a Guy Ziegler thing. What are we doing? Does he have a chance to win? For people that don't know, the Tennessee point guard has played there 4 years. He's a good player. He's a very good player. And now that his 4 years are up, he just wants to sue to keep playing. What's going to happen here? Have you ever seen anything like this?
I have not. And, we've talked about Diego Pavia, right? We talked about Elad Jet, and they were really distinct in that both there we had JUCO involvement and other stuff. So this guy's played 138 games, right? Filled up his 4 years of eligibility, was a good player. He really is kind of, you got to give credit to him being the perfect test plaintiff. And the reason why is he's so small, right? He's not an NBA prospect, okay? But he alleges in his lawsuit that he would anticipate that his, open market value this year would be $2.5 million if he were to play. So he's filed this lawsuit, and, got to give Hayes some credit. He seeks in the lawsuit a grad student exception, right? And he says it's a clear antitrust violation. They shouldn't be able to cap his opportunity to make this money. And if he goes to grad school, he should be able to play. So he's filed this in Tennessee District Court. I think this is by far the toughest case, way tougher than Elad Jet or Diego Pavia. I think most likely it would fail because he did exhaust everything under the initial rules. But he set it up for as strong a possible argument because they're 100% just going at and saying this is an NCAA antitrust violation. Anywhere else, somebody would be able to, quote, earn a living, right? And that they're restraining him from being able to go and earn this living that he says, I couldn't go earn otherwise.
And Brett, that to me is the essence of the case. But I am curious from a timeline standpoint. I mean, we're going to blink and they'll be practicing in terms of college basketball, getting ready for the next season. How hard is the timeline to get this adjudicated in time for Ziegler to be eligible to play?
So they're going to probably seek an injunction here immediately, and I think that ruling could happen sooner than later. And then we don't know what the NCAA's response would be. But I'll tell you, talking to Frank just in a couple of texts earlier, what's really interesting is, they're going to put in this new clearinghouse for the NIL. But I didn't realize this until I had the benefit of reading that article. So thanks, Frank. Do you know that Tennessee just passed this bill? It's called Bill number 536.
Right.
And it demands that Tennessee, Vanderbilt, or anybody else doesn't break with state rules and laws related to NIL. What the new clearinghouse is going to say, and we have not seen a copy of this is through media reports, right? But the media reports say that the Big Ten and the SEC have circulated to everybody, and if you don't sign this agreement, you could be out of the conference and not have an opportunity to play the teams in this NIL clearinghouse agreement. Well, there's a law now that says Tennessee, on the separate issue, right, has to stick with this Tennessee state law. So the Ziegler case would be, could be groundbreaking, no doubt. But this is going to be the other big thing to go on in NIL, right? Because the House settlement is put in place, but that doesn't preempt state law. And what is the University of Tennessee's got to do what the Senate, the legislature, and the other things there tell it to do. And wow, it'd be really interesting legally and politically to see how things shake out when you've got an SEC member institution that's being told to do one thing by the Southeastern Conference and another thing by its state legislature.
Hang on, but that's my question for you as a lawyer, a very good lawyer. You've been on many sides of this. You've done business law, defense and plaintiff law now. And let me ask you, you've been a prosecutor. I mean, all your years of law school and all. Who's good if a Tennessee state law says you do this? And the SEC is among all these conferences, Brett, that pass a rule that says you cannot sue us and you have to do what we say. Who's going to win that? That's my question. Who wins that?
Well, you got to remember, they're putting together an agreement or contract, and it's not the University of Federal Government. It's the University of Tennessee. They're going to follow what they're told to do in that state, right? Ultimately, the structures are relatively similar. There's boards of trustees. Those athletic directors respond to those boards of trustees. And at the end of the day, those institutions answer to the governor, right, and the executive branch in those states. This is where I think there's going to be some chaos in collegiate athletics as we watch these issues get sort of pushed out. What they want is everybody to agree to it. And I think, we've talked about it. We want to see sort of a commissioner. We want to see some organization to be able to be some response. But I will tell you, no matter what, even if everybody signed that agreement, there can still be an antitrust challenge to it because you can imagine this, you could be a super long-standing, tradition-rich university like Tennessee, right? And if your state law says not to do it and everybody else says they're going to go for it, you could potentially be out of the Southeastern Conference and not be able to play. I think if they then went and challenged it, they could say that would be, it could be an antitrust violation or what have you. So I think what we're going to see is there's going to have to be some flexibility and some encompassing of it. And I don't know that you're going to be able to circulate something immediately today that's going to remedy all of these issues. But it will definitely be incredibly compelling and interesting to see, how long does it take for that structure to be put in place?
Brett, would it help Ziegler's case if other athletes joined him? Let's say, for instance, Will Richard, who says, look, I wasn't invited to the NBA Combine, but I know I can go to Mississippi State next year and make $1.5 million. Is it too late for other players to join Ziegler? Would they have to sue on their own, or could they join Ziegler's crusade?
There's potential that you could take this individual case and morph it, into a class, right? That would clearly slow down things, and I don't think that would necessarily happen right now. And the Ziegler case could be precedent for a class like that, okay? But if what the guy Ziegler really wants to do is try to play next year, they're going to have to be aggressive, keep it focused solely on his issues, and try to go and prevail on an injunction so that they can say, hey, there's a court order, a federal court's telling everybody here what's going to do, and he's going to get an opportunity to go and play for the University of Tennessee.
If he wins, back to the question we started this with, what's going to stop him from doing it again and again and again and trying to play 3 more years?
Nothing in theory, right?
That's where this could go.
Right. I think that this is going to be the toughest challenge because he went and exhausted, all of that. And, there still is an argument to say, hey, you're such a great basketball player. There's been an inordinate number of undrafted free agents to make it onto NBA rosters that, guys can make money overseas, that type of stuff. And so it'll be interesting. Now, you got to understand this is filed in the federal district court in Tennessee, right? And our judges are going to decide the law and apply it the way they can. But trust me, he chose that venue because he believes it'll be the best venue for him. And it'll also be something that would be popular, right? If Zakai Ziegler ends up getting some eligibility in the state of Tennessee to play or, in federal court for Tennessee, and they're not really looking at what are the long-term ramifications on everybody else. But I agree with you. I think then we would see a bevy of those lawsuits, Hayes, but probably a lot of individual lawsuits where people would try to prevail by way of an injunction so that they could play now, and then that precedent would be out there.
Is Ziegler's case, is it benefited from the fact that when he was a freshman, NIL didn't exist? Like, could he say, yes, I've exhausted my eligibility, but look at how the landscape has changed. I wasn't able to make money as a freshman because NIL and revenue sharing wasn't where it is today.
I think more than anything, this is going to come down to the courts using the case law that's out there, existing antitrust case law and analyzing it. And, as I've been saying on here for weeks, and I'm sure sometimes people are like, well, man, maybe he's getting too nerdy as a lawyer or whatever, is that this would be clear if it were trying to earn a living, right, as an employee or for compensation. And so it's still cloaked in the stuff as it relates to name, image, and likeness. But I think we're going to see a ruling, and maybe this is it, where they're going to say, hey, you can't restrain somebody from having the opportunity to go earn this type of living, right? Like he should be able to do that He could be in grad school. He could be there. And we think that the NCAA's rulemaking authority should be restricted by this, because really, when you analyze this and look at all of the factors, this is an employment arrangement, an opportunity to pay for play more than it is for compensation for his name, image, and likeness, right? I don't think Zakai Ziegler's name, image, and likeness is worth $2.5 million. I think his ability to create assists and get teams to the Elite Eight is worth $2.5 million. And that is where there's a real antitrust problem, because in America, we're going to give people opportunities to go earn money. We're not going to try to restrain that. So hopefully that makes some sense. But I think that's continuing to be the crux of the issue. And even the other thing Frank talked about, this is a gigantic agreement where they're continuing to talk about name, image, and likeness, and it really is an arrangement to pay players to play for those teams.
Final question. The other issue, the College Sports Commission, with the CEO and a sort of a commissioner of college sports, which it looks like is where we're headed. They want all these schools to sign agreements to agree to not sue on any of this stuff. That's clearly in the language. Is that possible? And have you ever seen anything like that where the contract says you can't sue us based on anything?
We do have like indemnity agreements, and other things. To be honest with you, you have to see the language, know.
Yeah.
Us not to sue for anything. I mean, you can't, if somebody creates criminal acts, super negligent, stuff like that, you're still always going to be able to bring agents. But what they're trying to do is say everybody's got to agree, I think, so that we can keep this safe from an antitrust, place. And, what I think is going to happen, it will happen. I believe there will be a large arrangement like this. The super conference idea that we've all talked about on here is going to end up happening. It's just not going to happen as quick as the Southeastern Conference, the Big Ten, or anybody else is going to want it. And I think ultimately we've got to figure out this issue, call it what it is, and figure out how to address what is really an employment arrangement and not a name, image, and likeness arrangement. And, I don't think they can just, go out and usurp all state law on that. And they're going to have to, work through this, because they've kind of put together an agreement, but they really didn't have all the stakeholders there. And we see it all the time. We see it in Major League Baseball. We see it in National Football League. If you've ever seen the actual collective bargaining agreement, it's incredibly detailed. And those things have literally been negotiated between these players' unions and the leagues for decades to get to that point. College football is now starting, from a very unique position. But I do think the courts will, to kind of answer Hayes' earlier question and this one, I do think ultimately they don't want people in school forever, right? And so I don't think you're going to be able to do it forever. I do think it's going to have to be rationally tied to the college experience. And so I think there can be a time limitation that can survive some antitrust scrutiny. I just think they're going to have to go and get it figured out. And I don't know at this point. I actually thought it was some really creative lawyering by Zakai Ziegler, sort of the grad student, right, express portion of that, and that you needed to be making, continue to go through towards the degree or whatever, because I think that's an opportunity to split the middle between somebody could be in school and college forever, right, and, trying to honor what was the existing traditions of college football or college basketball in this case.
What a time in college sports. Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Thank you, Brett.
You got it. See you.
All right. Great job with sports and courts. We'll take a break. I want to stay on college sports. I can't remember when a blue blood football program, one of the ones you talk about, suddenly looked up and basketball was way better than football, and what that would do to a fan base. Let's discuss it after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
May is Military Appreciation Month, and Nimnik proudly salutes the brave men and women who serve and have served this country. As a thank you, they're offering an additional $750 off select new Chevrolets, and every vehicle purchased at Nimnik supports K9s for Warriors. So from all the folks at Nimnik, thank you for service and sacrifice. It's also truck season at Nimnik. Did you know that? This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 0%. That's right, 0% financing. Now, unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck at Nimnick. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV, designed to go the difference. So you get the deal. It's truck season. All kind of trucks available. And in May, we celebrate the military. That's what's going on at Nimnick. Head there today. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Serving up sports takes and breakfast flakes.
And I'm not talking just football. I am talking basketball, baseball.
Gee, all the things I really care about.
Put some spring in your step with The Drill. Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser. Mornings on 1010XL.
Ever wonder where your food comes from? Get back to the good old days with fresh produce delivered to you from local family farms. Subscribe today at doorbellfarms.com. Connecting real people with real family farms.
Big Chief Tire offers affordable quality tires for every type of vehicle. Frank Frangie here. Whether you're looking for all-season tires, high-performance options, or something more budget-friendly, Big Chief has the perfect set to keep you rolling. Their expert technicians ensure your tires are installed quickly and safely so you can drive with confidence. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment and check out their unbeatable tire deals today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
This is Hayes Carline, and I'm so proud of my guy, Leon Searcy.
Man, I used to want to eat all the time, but just 1 month on Physician Guided Weight Loss, and I've already dropped 15 pounds.
And I lost 25. No side effects, just results.
The GLP, one curbs my cravings and keeps me feeling full. It's been easier than I expected, and I feel amazing.
Their staff is great, and best of all, no surprise costs.
If you're ready to bring sexy back this summer, visit pgweightloss.com.
Physician Guided Weight Loss, safe, doctor supervised.
And it works.
Get a healthy start in 2025. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to encourage you to get healthy and stay healthy this year. They have a dedicated team who are committed to providing quality care. The goal is to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Visit duval.floridahealth.gov to learn more about their health programs and services. That's duval.floridahealth.gov.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors to get the job done right, Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit Coastal Equipment for a demo today.
Greater power for the great outdoors. Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
She's very comfortable talking sports and hanging out with the boys.
Mia O'Brien here, still providing the best multimedia sports coverage in Northeast Florida on 1010XL radio, video, and social channels.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota.
Out here, you'll find a community of hardworking creators with loyal followers, along with proud moments worth sharing. And farm to table, well, that's just supper. And whether it's a raised garden bed, acres of land, or something for your animals, we've got all the supplies and are happy to share a little know-how.
Welcome to Tractor Supply. Into life out here.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Ackerman Urology has 4 convenient locations providing advanced urological care to improve men's health and sexual vitality. Don't suffer through prostate, bladder, or kidney issues. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Jacksonville, Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coating's my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, Hammer Time with Hayes. Driven by Southside Kia. Online at SouthsideKiaJax.com.
This is going to be short and sweet. College athletics is getting ready to be Thunderdome. It already is, but I think the only way that they're going to be able to ever move on and have any sort of stability is to have no stability, to have no rules, have it be uncapped. It's not going to be good for the sport. It's going to kill parity, but parity has never been a big thing in elite college athletics anyway. But I think you're heading legally towards an environment where players can play as long as they want in college. They can play for as many teams as they want in college. And there's not going to be anything that the schools, conferences can do because legally we live in a capitalistic society and capitalism is always going to win in the courtroom. And these players, the money is just too big. They're not going to be told you are aged out, you are too old to go earn a living that can pay you multi-million dollars a year.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. It certainly seems, I doubted that 2-3 weeks ago. I'm not so sure we're not headed there now. And that might be what this whole College Sports Commission is trying to block. That by saying you can't sue us, they might be saying it's all out of control, not the least of which is how many years you can play. Not just NIL, but duration in term. We want to get it back to 4 years, and this might be the way to do it. So we'll see. Interesting stuff. All right, let's stay on college athletics for a second. The Florida basketball team is all anyone's talking about. I mean, they're at the Capitol today. Okay,
They're at the White House as we speak. That ceremony is happening right now.
They're at the White House. They were at the Capitol earlier. They're at the White House as we speak. And again, national champions get there. But every time you pull up social media, they're going to sign. They're getting a commitment from Boogie Flan. They are almost getting the Desmond Claude thing. They were in it with this guy. Now we're waiting to see if Condon comes back. And Chinyelu just came back. And this is usually a time nobody's talking about anybody in the college basketball world. You're talking about college football. You're not talking about anything. If you talk about football, it's college football. And is DJ Lagway throwing? And are you going to get anybody else out of the portal? And so that's, I mean, they got Elijah Badger out of the May portal last year. I don't even know if they have a May portal this year. So clearly Florida basketball just won the title. I'm trying to think if there's ever been a time. See, Oklahoma and Texas and Alabama, not Alabama as much, have had their moments in basketball, but never when the football was floundering. And I'm not saying Florida looks like it might be upwardly mobile in football. I'm not. They've won 4 in a row. It looks like they may have something this year. We've talked about it. I haven't changed my mind on that. But I wonder, with basketball being in such a good place, are we finally having some Gator fans that are almost more caught up in that than what's going to happen with football? Or is it just because, is it recency stuff? And once we get to August, nobody will be thinking about basketball. Is that where we are?
I would say it's more recency. Yeah, I would say like if Florida opens the season in football next year 5-0, which would be some massive wins.
But that's right.
Then I don't think anybody really cares about, hey, the basketball team started practice today and Boogie Flan looks really good and Zaven Lee looks incredible. Like I think it's going to be, okay, yeah, that's great. But let's talk about how we went into Baton Rouge and won 31-13.
You're right. If football all of a sudden lights it up, I agree with you. But what if they don't?
If they don't, then the basketball team will be the belle of the ball.
If football lights it up, it'll always be the blue blood. But what if 2-0, lose at LSU, lose a close one at Miami? They are both road games. They could be underdogs in those games.
They will be.
Yeah, you're 2-2, then you're 3-3, and basketball practice is about to start. That's my question.
Then
what in Gator Nation?
Then I think Gators are more excited for basketball.
And I just, boy, would that be damaging. I'm just trying to think. I can't remember a football blue blood where basketball ever was really good. I mean, winning the national championship is as good as you get. So, and number one, there's not many football blue bloods ever win a championship in basketball. In fact, when's the last one? Who's the last true football blue blood to win a title in basketball?
The only school I can think of that might be comparable to what Florida is going through is Michigan, with like Michigan's had basketball teams.
And you know what? That's the answer.
That have probably superseded the football at times.
Yeah.
But it's a football school.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not suggesting that's going to change. The minute Florida gets good at football again, it's always a football school. Same with Michigan. But in the interim, that's my question. And Michigan's a great example because Ohio State never won the title of basketball. Michigan's got a couple titles, and Michigan has had some moments in football where they've been where Florida is right now. I did an Illinois-Michigan game in, 8 or 9. Illinois went to Michigan on the road and won 45-12.
Oh wow! Was that Brady Hoke?
That probably
coach in Michigan.
It would have been. It was 45-12. I don't know why I remember. I think that was a score.
Wow!
And it was in that stretch of years when I did did those games from 07 through 13. So it
would have been right after Lloyd Carr.
Yeah, so somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So the point is, they were not very happy with it. You lose at the Big House to Illinois,
right?
45-12 or whatever the score. You're not very happy with your team. So the point is. I just wonder if this Florida, is there more pressure on them? Because I think basketball, look, you can come out of nowhere and be great at basketball. Creighton and Gonzaga and Butler, they came out of nowhere and they weren't blue bloods, but they were gonna pop up in everybody's preseason top 7 or 8. I think Florida's there because I don't think this is ending. We talked about this season. They won the title. Now it's all about what's going to happen next year, and is Condon coming back, and Chinny Lewis back, and are they going to get Xavier Lee? They did. Are they going to get Boogie Flan? They did. Now they got those 2 really good high school guys. So now all of a sudden they're going to be a top 5 team to start next year. There's not even debate. Condon comes back, they're top 1, 2, or 3 next year. We all know that. At least to start the season. Well, I'm not sure it ends after that. That's my point. So Houck comes out next year, and Condon those. I think he's gonna recruit more. The 2 freshmen are gonna be back. Isaiah Brown's coming back. You see my point? He's gonna find 2 or 3 more portal guys. Okay, so not next year, the year after next, he starts 9th. See my point? I think that's where they're headed.
I think
doesn't it feel that way?
I think they're headed to a era where a really bad year for Florida basketball is they're a 5 seed.
Yeah,
in the NCAA tournament. That's a bad year for Todd Golden. I said I can't find that's where I think they're headed.
I can't find a football blue blood. I'll give you one, a bluish blood. Auburn. Auburn's a football school. Auburn had Bo Jackson and Cam Newton. Auburn had Pat Sullivan. Auburn's had national titles. Auburn's had undefeated seasons. Auburn's had Heisman Trophy winners. Yet if the team had finished the way, the problem is Florida messed it up. If Auburn had beaten Florida in San Antonio like everybody expected them to, and then turned around and beat Houston, which again everybody would have expected them to, we'd be having the same conversation. Bruce Pearl would be at the White House right now, and we'd wonder if Hugh Freeze was ever going to get it done there, right? So that's the best example. If Auburn had done what Florida did, which is what everybody expected.
Yeah, and again, I don't know how long Todd Golden will be at Florida because he does seem to be on his way to being one of the best coaches in college basketball, and all you hear from the analysts is how his system, I think Lee Humphrey mentioned it yesterday when he joined us. Todd Golden's system is NBA friendly. It certainly would translate. Well, you have to think at some point the right job is going to open where, I'm sure he'll be selective, but eventually a job is going to open where there's 2 or 3 superstars on the team, and it's probably going to be too hard for him to ignore. But until that happens, what could possibly derail them? He is able to construct rosters now consistently that are great on both ends of the court. How often do you see a team that's top 10 in the nation in scoring offense, top 10 in rebound margin, doesn't get into foul trouble? What he's been able to build, and maybe I'm projecting too much onto a team that's yet to have a practice together. That could certainly be it. But I, with him adding the players that he has added and the players that he's been able to retain, I'm not 100% sure they can't go to the Final Four next year if Alex Condon stays in the draft.
Well, the point,
but if Condon comes back, I don't see how they're not preseason number one, and it's not even up for debate.
Yeah, I would. What we do know is if Condon comes back, they're going to be. I said this yesterday. They're going to be one of the 2 or 3 teams that everybody's talking about. So we'll see. And the final thing is back to the point of the topic: is there now more? I now think there's more pressure on football. Before I thought it just helps. It helps. It's a non-factor. I now think there's more pressure on football. Everything else is going in the right direction. I mean, baseball's been to the Final Four 2 years in a row. Baseball 2 years ago almost won it. They were an eyelash from a line drive that Wyatt Langford hit that got caught under the warning tracker. They beat LSU in 2 straight games and win the title. Instead, they finished second. Last year, they're the Cinderella story that comes out of nowhere and gets in the top 4. And it looks like they're about to make a run again. That's going well. Basketball just won the national title. Facilities are in great shape. Boy, the pressure on football is enormous. I think there's more pressure on football. I guess that's where I'm going.
I think there's definitely more pressure on football's coaching staff because of what Todd Golden has done, because Golden's done it in a shorter amount of time. Napier got there a year earlier. So, I think there's massive pressure on Billy Napier, and this just adds to it. I don't think there's much pressure on the football players. In fact, I think when basketball wins, I think it actually creates a better environment for football. I do think those athletes, particularly in the new facility, they've always, I can tell you from being a student there, the athletes have always, gotten along and they've hung out together and things like that. And I think, and even now that they've built the new facility and all the Gator athletes dine in the same area, they've got the Jeremy Foley, what do they call it, Room of Champions or whatever it is, where the athletes have their training table. And it's a collective, so they're all in there together. I think winning helps the football players. I think when they see their peers that are having the success they're having and their friends having the success they're having, I think that helps them. I think that doesn't work as a negative, but I think for Florida's coaching staff and Billy Napier, and look, the pressure is already immense when you're the Florida football coach and you don't have a national title ring, on your resume. But I think for the players, it actually helps. I think it creates more of a winning mentality and culture on campus, and I think that does benefit the football team.
We'll take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about Travis Hunter. It's a conversation everybody's had, but we haven't had in depth. We'll do it after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
The home of the home team you grew up with.
Jimmy Smith was given a chance with an expansion team.
And what a quality person as well, a leader of this football team.
Jaguars, pride forever. 1010XL.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
Unlike those big corporate-owned stores, Beard's Diamonds doesn't rely on AI to help you find the right diamond. Beard's Diamonds specializes in DI, Diamond Intelligence. As Town Center's only locally owned jeweler with international connections, Beard's Diamonds is the smart choice for choosing the right jewelry for any occasion. Our Diamond Intelligence comes from years of helping your Jacksonville neighbors and connecting them to beautiful, dazzling diamonds from top designers like Tacori and Verragio. Diamond Intelligence is about finding the diamond that expresses what words can't and leaves her speechless. And Diamond Intelligence is tapping into partners from around the globe to find your true treasure without the middleman markups and bottom-line algorithms. Come experience the local, loyal, and helpful difference of Beard's Diamonds in Town Center, home of Diamond Intelligence. There's nothing artificial about it. Beard's Diamonds, proud to be Jacksonville's jeweler at the St. John's Town Center.
On Memorial Day, all of us at Harrell & Harrell join you and our community to pause and remember the sacrifice that fallen heroes made for this country and honor them for all they have given us. Offices, Jacksonville. An out-of-town lawyer could rent space and say they have an office here, but how does that help you after an accident? Harrell & Harrell is here for nearly 40 years, and we have the local relationships you need if you've been injured. Call Harrell & Harrell today. Offices, Jacksonville.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Come in, Linda. Over.
We got a sea of new vehicles and they're priced so low they're rocking the boat. Come check out our biggest selection of inventory with prices that don't break the bank and our wow ya experience that will ensure smooth sailing for your next car purchase. Plus, take advantage of our peace of mind warranties, transparent pricing to provide you with a peace of mind. You better beat the surge and head to the all-new Beaver Toyota or Chevrolet for the car buying experience you deserve.
He's not Pistol Pete, he's Pete Prisco.
Been on the wanted list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music. The window's down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
And welcome back to another episode of Potty Talk with our current champion. So what's your secret to your perfect plumbing proficiency?
It's simple, really. Roland Reach Plumbing is always the right answer.
Roland Reach Plumbing, 260-7059.
What was George Washington's salary when he was president?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
George Washington's annual salary as president was $25,000, about $4.5 million in today's dollars.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to i9sports.com with summer and fall registration open right now, including girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 for a discount.
Join us at Miller Electric May 29th from 4 to 7 p.m. We're on the lookout for talented people, from entry-level to experienced electricians and foremen, security system installation and service technicians, fire alarm system service technicians, and both senior and junior VDV technicians. This is your chance to get hired on the spot. Meet the managers, indulge in delicious food, and snag some awesome giveaways. Don't miss out on this electrifying chance to power up your career. Miller Electric, May 29th, 4 to 7 p.m., 6805 South Point Parkway.
The 2025 season schedule has dropped, and single-game tickets are on sale now. Be at the bank to watch Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jaguars take on the biggest names in the NFL. Don't miss your favorite matchup and secure your tickets now by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. See you this fall, Jags fans.
Yes, sir. That's the best decision.
I love it.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air. While Week 1 kickoff seems so distant, OTAs are a sign that the season is right around the corner and things will begin to unravel fast. OTAs, especially for a team with a new staff and lots of new players, are a very important time to lay the foundation for the marathon of a season ahead. Head coach Liam Cohen is focused on the journey, but taking it one day at a time.
At this point, it is strictly how much can we actually learn from every day? How many mental errors did we have? How much can we continue to be disciplined with our communication, formations, alignment, assignment, the operation, the communication? Are we understanding what we're trying to get accomplished out of the calls? It's a learning phase, not necessarily a competitive phase.
It's 92 degrees at 5:01. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Back to a Coyle & Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it too.
Man, we sure appreciate our friends from Coyle & Sons. Always a Coyle & Sons Wednesday around here. Look, they've done this for a long time. Since 1927, Coyle & Sons has been the best fence company in Jacksonville. And now they're doing residential fencing. You can get 0% financing if you need a fence at your home. And why would you call anybody else but this group that's done so many good commercial fences forever? Now they're doing your home. They've looked out for us. Guys, they built a beautiful batter's eye. You hear me talk about it all the time at our Walk-Off Charities ballpark at the Bregan Baseball Complex. You can also trust them. The number's 904-356-4821. That's 904-356-4821. You can go to coiljacks.com. That's C-O-I-L-E Jacks.com. Again, the fence company in Jacksonville for the longest time. Folks, you can really trust, my friends, at Coyle & Sons Fence Company. Frangie and Carline with you. JJ LaSelva here as well. We've talked about Travis Hunter a lot. Nobody knows exactly how it's going to go, but I'm pretty certain. I feel pretty confident. We all have our guesses, right? My guess would be this. And by the way, it's really new. We've never seen what we're going to see. I mean, I'm trying to think. Can you imagine on 3rd and 8, they run out Randy Moss at outside corner? I mean,
I'd be all for it.
I mean, think about it for a second. Can you imagine a super fast? Can you imagine in college when Florida's playing Alabama and Alabama's got 4th down and 7 and they've got to go for it at the 28 and Percy Harvin runs out there and covers your slot receiver? I mean, we've just never seen it. And I'm trying to picture, Deion Sanders has gone and run a few routes, but he wasn't really a two-way player. He just went and played offense a few times. At least that's what that's my remembrance of it.
That's what it was.
Yeah, just imagine great offensive players. Imagine it's Reggie Bush. USC's playing Texas, and on 3rd and 8 from the 28-yard line, Reggie Bush goes in and covers Texas's fast receiver. Wouldn't it be crazy? There was a guy, Hayes, there was a guy, I want to say when I was, a kid maybe, and he played at Purdue, a guy named Leroy Keys. Does that number do anything for you? I think I'm getting it right. Leroy Keys played at Purdue back in I want to say the 70s. I think he probably played in the NFL for a little bit. But I think he played two ways for Purdue. And I'm trying to remember, before Travis Hunter did it at Colorado, if there's anybody that I can remember doing it. I mean, really being a two-way player at any level. Now, high school they do, but I mean, so I'm thinking about this and thinking about whether it's happened. If you stop to think about it, this is the National Football League. And my vision is going to be, my vision, Mia told me that Joel Klatt made the comment that he thinks in time he'll play every down on both sides. Well, nobody plays every down. Even starters don't play every down in the NFL. Starting wide receivers don't. It's a rotational position. But my vision is he is in the 3-man rotation on offense. When their base offense is on the field, 11 personnel, which is 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide, or 10 personnel when it's 4 wide, he's going to be on the field. Okay, that's my vision. He's on the field most of the time. On 3rd and 2, when you're in your jumbo formation, he's not in the field, and you're going to run the football. 3rd and a yard and a half. I guess 3rd and 2 is a passing down now. He's 3rd and a half yard, whatever. My guess is when the game starts, he's not in the field on defense, but on 3rd down he is. So you're playing Carolina, okay? And to your point, it's that 24-17. It's a close game. He's played on 3rd downs or a 4th down, okay? You got into the 4th quarter. He's played in the red zone, and I think both of those are kind of givens. Now you're in the 4th quarter. You're up 24-17. You just scored a touchdown or a field goal to make it a 7-point margin. Carolina needs a touchdown, right? You kick off, touchback. They start at the 30. Here comes Bryce Young. They're going left to right on a beautiful day here at the bank. 4:18 to play in a 24-17 game. First down, Carolina from their own 30. Is he in the game?
Yes.
I think he is. I think even though that's not a get off the field down, it's the last 4 minutes of the game. I think he's an outside or slide, but I think he's a cornerback, and I think he plays the rest of the game on defense.
Yeah, and you're right. We've never seen anything like this. It's extraordinary what Travis Hunter and the Jaguars are attempting to do. To James Gladstone's direct quote, challenge the boundaries of the sport. And I think it's going to be a substantial amount on both sides starting in week one. Now, week one is difficult because obviously it's the first game of the year and the preseason doesn't really prepare you for that workload. But, when you look at last year's Jaguar-Dolphins game, the highest snap count for anybody on either side of the ball was 71 snaps. It was a weird game. The Jaguars had 53 offensive snaps. The Dolphins had 71 offensive snaps. That's obviously out of balance. But let's assume in the Jacksonville-Carolina opener that each team has, let's just say, 60 snaps on offense and defense. I think you can count on Travis Hunter playing 45 snaps on offense and 30 snaps on defense. So I would think he's going to play basically the full allotment of what a starting receiver would play, because usually you're going to play about 75, 80% of the offensive snaps if you're a starting receiver, because to your point, you're not going to play in every formation. So I think it's Travis Hunter probably 45 out of 60 offensive snaps and Travis Hunter half the game on the defensive side. And I would think that's going to be somewhat situational, probably more geared towards the second half and those critical downs. But I think he'll also be in on garden variety downs. I mean, I think he'll also have maybe a series where it's his series.
Even if they're minus territory. Even if the offense is in minus territory.
Yeah, because I think he's going to play, if he plays, let's say he plays 30 of the 60 snaps against Carolina. Well, I don't think there's going to be 30 of the 60 snaps that will be highly situational, where you probably have, 13 third down snaps, something like that. You might have 7 or 8 red zone snaps in a given game. So that's basically 20. So I'll say he plays more than that. Which probably means he'll get, whether it's to start the third quarter, maybe it's the fourth quarter that he'll be on at that point, playing both sides until the game's conclusion. But I think it's going to be a heavy workload. I mean, I think it will grow, but I would be surprised if in the opener he is not playing at least 75 of the 120 snaps in the game.
Yeah, and so it could be that many. I want this guy. I told you, remember this guy, Leroy Keys? I just remember him as a kid, but I wasn't sure when he played. So anyway, he played in the late 60s at Purdue. I thought he was a receiver. Turns out he was a running back. He played running back and safety at Purdue. In the NFL, he only played 4 years in the NFL. He's in 4 years in the NFL. Had 125 carries for 369 yards. Okay, how you have 125 carries in 4 years, you're a real running back. He had 30 catches, and he played strong safety.
Wow.
So he's and I didn't know this. I didn't know this about Leroy Keys. I just looked this up. His claim to fame was in the 1969 draft. Okay, he was the second pick. Okay. Second pick of the draft, Leroy Keys. The first pick was O.J. Simpson. The third pick was Mean Joe Green.
Wow.
So that's how he's remembered. I didn't realize this. He's the guy in between O.J. Simpson and Mean Joe Green.
Wow.
Two of the best players of all time. I mean, two. Yeah. So he was kind of.
He's the Sam Bowie of.
Correct. He's the Sam Bowie of. I was trying to think of who that was. So anyway, but. It's just as I think about Hunter, I think you're right. I don't know. Again, early in the season, I think he plays a bunch of offense. I think he's on almost every third down other than a third and a yard. Every third down and 4 or more, I get the sense he's in there.
Without a doubt.
Every fourth down, I get the sense he's in there. And I think most red zone plays, I think he's in there. Maybe, again, first and goal from the 1, maybe not, because that's not a spread the field passing down. But I do think so. And I will say, it's interesting now that when everybody asks about him now, you get the same answer. Energy is ridiculous. He runs back to the huddle. He goes, plays defense, plays off. He's never tired. He's never tired. So it'll be. I just think we all know, because we've been talking about it ever since the word came out that they were going to trade up, and they traded up and they drafted him. We've been talking about it ever since the draft. But I can tell you the enormity of what he's getting ready to do is pretty amazing. I'll tell you this too. I can tell you, talk to some local collectible stores. The request at collectible stores for Travis Hunter jerseys trumps everything, including Trevor jerseys, by a wide margin. I figured to be first, but I figured Trevor and BT would be right there because people love those two guys at their jerseys. But people can't get enough of Travis Hunter right now.
I think he's got the top-selling jersey in the NFL for any rookie.
For any rookie, yeah. And again, he was the second pick. But I just think the unicorn nature of this is something that we've all known. But when you really think about it, when you really think about being at that football stadium in September, and this guy is playing on both and impacting both sides of the ball, it's a pretty amazing thing. I guess that's the point.
You're watching history, yeah. Bob McGinn, who's a legendary NFL writer, we always talk about his draft previews as they're coming around, and he pointed this out in his cornerback preview, which is where he had Travis Hunter. And he said, you look at Deion Sanders, you look at Charles Woodson, and you look at Champ Bailey, guys that had the ability to do both.
That's probably the three guys.
So this is what they did. We all remember, these guys as defensive players in the NFL. This is what they did on the offensive side of the ball. Deion Sanders had 60 catches for 784 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I would not have guessed that much. I would not have guessed
that would be a very, I would say, average year for Travis Hunter, his rookie year, if that's what he came.
Those are Deion's career
That's
numbers.
Deion's career
in
the NFL. Charles Woodson caught 2 passes in the NFL.
I didn't even know he did that.
Champ Bailey caught 4 passes in the NFL.
I didn't realize either one of those guys.
And you're talking about Hall of Fame talents.
Right.
So, and in Deion Sanders' case, arguably the greatest corner that's ever played. So you take Deion, who obviously is by far the most accomplished of these three, and it's still just numbers that Travis will be expected to surpass this year. It speaks to how completely revolutionary he is as a talent. It is Shohei Ohtani. What is happening in Jacksonville is what happened with Shohei Ohtani with the Angels in Major League Baseball.
And it's going to be, that's a great comparison, and we're going to get to watch it here. I guess that's the point. I mean,
you're watching history.
It really is going to be pretty amazing stuff. Let's take a break. Hayes has headlines after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
The station that keeps coming back for more. More Jaguars, more Gators, more sports talk for Jacksonville. 1010XL, when you want more.
This is Hayes Carline for Atlantic Infinity. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise, free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter, and you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor, climate-controlled showroom. It's cool, comfortable, hassle-free, and they've got dozens of cars in there. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
Hi, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass, there's one name I trust, and that's Lee Encased Glass. Mirrors, custom showers, tabletops, even foggy glass windows, they handle all that. And they've been doing it right since long before I ever picked up a mic. Local, family-owned, and part of this community, just like we are. They've taken great care of me, including our brand-new walk-off offices. Guys, they did a great job, and I promise they'll do the same for you. Lee Encased, it's the clear choice. Check them out at LeeEncasedGlass.com.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Showtime is now an official PSA grading dealer 2 days per week, Wednesday and Sunday. You can bring your raw cards into Showtime to submit for PSA. Seth can review your cards and mail them off same week. It's Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
When it comes to your utility bill, JEA wants to help you use less so you can save more. We offer a variety of free programs, like efficiency and irrigation assessments that'll teach you ways to conserve energy and water around your home. Our alerts will let you know when your utility usage has reached a set amount, and our rebates can help you save when upgrading to more efficient appliances and equipment. Find even more ways to save at JEA.com.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
One man, one hammer. One place to hear it drop. Hammer Time with Hayes, weekdays on The Frangie Show.
Driven by Southside Kia. Online at SouthsideKiaJax.com on 1010XL.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes here with a challenge. A challenge might not be the best choice in words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the fourth with a Waken 180. It sounds a little different when you put a real goal to it, doesn't it? Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the fourth? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the number 260 be a little nicer on your eyes and on your joints? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with a Waken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in 9 weeks. Hacker dropped his first 40 in just 6 weeks. Dempsey, Blue, and everyone else I know, same results. And we've kept it off. The best thing about a Waken 180 weight loss, it will completely change the way you think, see, and feel about food. The results are real, attainable, and the process simple with a Waken 180. Take the opportunity and drop 40 by the fourth. It all starts with just one call to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Barry here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Barry Orthopedics today or visit BarryOrthopedics.com.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dan Hicken with a game changer. I've tested the field, and Checkmate Coatings is my new go-to for durable, jaw-dropping floor coatings. Better play, better results.
I'm Brendan from Checkmate Coatings. Our precision coatings make your floors the MVP of any space.
Slam dunk your floors at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Are you ready to play this summer? At the First Coast YMCA, we're committed to being your home for health and wellness and a place for friendly competition with team sports for adults and for kids. Basketball, volleyball, pickleball, flag football, soccer. The Y has something for everyone at any age. Discover all the benefits of YMCA membership and find your fun this summer at the Y. Registration for team sports and summer camps is open now. Visit fcymca.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Yes, give our friends at Harrell & Harrell a call at 251-1111. Frank, we're going to start in the world of the NFL. The tush push survives by a slim vote. 22 were in favor of banning it, but it needed 24. So the Philadelphia Eagles will still be able to utilize the most unique play that we have in professional football.
Yeah, I'm a little puzzled that the ruling doesn't just say when something becomes this controversial, majority rules. But the rules are that if you got to change a rule, you need 3/4 of the people, and they didn't get that. The Jaguars voted to leave it in. Good for them. They're trying not to whine about it, but it wouldn't have bothered me if they took it out. I said that yesterday. I don't want to go back on what I said just because of how the Jags voted or because of what won the vote. It wouldn't have bothered me. It doesn't feel like a football play. I don't care, but it doesn't feel like a football play to me.
I do think this will be the last year they have it, because now I think they'll go back and kind of fix their mistake and say this needs to be presented as a broad reflection of the 2005 rule where you allowed pushing to be put back into place. So they tried to do that at the 11th hour this time, and it helped, but didn't get them over the edge. So I think now with a full year, you'll see it. So I think this will be the last year that you do have the tush push. I think it's I don't think this is something that's just going to go away. One thing it'll be interesting to see if this goes away, playoff seeding, the changing of the seeding going into the divisional round to reseed and penalize division champions with a weak record was pulled by the Lions, which means that it didn't have a lot of support, and that is something that I'm not sure they'll be able to resurrect that.
Yeah, I don't either. Look, I still think a 13-4 team should be seeded higher than a 9-8 team, regardless of who did or didn't win a division. You're all playing mostly the same teams when you're in a professional sports league. But I do get it. They really want division play to matter. They really want winning your division to matter. They want that to be. That's why all the division games are stacked at the end now. They're trying to turn it into a college feel, a rivalry like a college feel. And I get it. I understand it. I would just do it the other way.
Owners did approve a change to the onside kick rule. Now a team trailing can attempt it at any time in the game. It's still a very flawed rule that they have, but now it's maybe not quite as absurd as it was last season.
As bizarre as it would be, and as much of a game changer as it would be, I do hope that's one that when they go to the weird spring league rules sometimes, that they do go to a rule to where if you have a 4th and 25 from your own 20 or 4th and 20, whatever they decide, they let you do that after a touchdown rather than the onside kick, because there's a better chance to make a 4th and 25 than there is to recover an onside kick.
And you're letting your superstar settle it.
Correct.
Which is another, I think, appealing aspect to that. And I am with you. I hope they do away with the onside kick and create an offense versus defense paradigm there.
They make it very hard, but make it almost impossible, but possible.
But a chance. Whatever, 9%.
Yeah.
Figure out, on what down and distance does somebody have, a 9% chance of conversion?
That's right.
And make that the down and distance. The Buffalo Bills have been chosen for Hard Knocks. The first show is Tuesday, August the 5th.
Yeah, you're more of a Hard Knocks guy than I am.
Even they've lost me.
You've had it.
I haven't watched it in a couple of years now.
Well, here's the thing.
I used to love it.
There's so much behind the scenes stuff. The teams and the Jags digital department is so good at it, but others are too. There's so much good mic'd up behind the scenes stuff now. That Hard Knocks can't give you a whole lot that you didn't have anyway if you follow your team sites. B, I think the shock value of putting a camera in when a guy got cut and the coach has to tell him and the player's devastated. Well, we've been there and done that. Now it's not a new story anymore. We saw it with Brian Billick 100 years ago on Hard Knocks. So Hard Knocks doesn't move the needle.
And they don't even show that anymore.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
It's just been so watered down.
They showed it at the time because, oh my God, I can't believe they're showing it. Well, now that it's been shown, showing it again is not news.
But they don't even do that.
No, I know.
It's very controlled, I think, which is why it's lost its fastball. But maybe they'll get it back. They're also going to continue the in-season version of Hard Knocks. The league announced today that this season the focus will be on the NFC East because they do that as a full division.
Right.
That program will start in December.
Yeah, the way they do it now is the preseason's a team, the in-season's a division. Again, I haven't watched yet very much, and I probably won't now.
The year of Tony Baselli continues.
Now what?
Because the NFL has decided to add Protector of the Year in their awards to honor the best offensive lineman in the league. So they were, the offensive linemen were like, what about us?
Is it the Baselli Award? Is that what we're calling it?
They're calling it the Protector of the Year. So it's not named after anybody yet, but But good news for all offensive linemen out there. You now get a little taste of glory.
And it really is a good year because the offensive linemen probably don't get enough glory. So, yeah, it actually probably is a pretty good thing. And do the Jaguars have anybody that can win it?
Well, I mean, Walker Little has to be the odds-on favorite.
There you go.
I mean, I think that goes with what I'm saying.
That's why I teed you up for that.
The NFL, we talked about them, the owners approving players to participate in the 2028 Olympics. So if you had to guess, which Jaguar do you think has the best chance to represent Jacksonville if they're chosen?
The one that plays offense and defense. I mean,
over Brian Thomas Jr.
Because I would think a two-way player. I don't know how big the rosters are, but I would think a two-way player would factor in there. Brian Thomas Jr. would be the other one, but I think a two-way player would be high on my list there.
Walker Little,
or him.
Okay, very good. Let's get it.
I was down to those two.
Let's get it to college basketball. The Gators are visiting the White House today to celebrate their national championship. This I thought was kind of big. Alex Condon is there.
Yeah.
So in terms of, he's still making his decision in terms of whether to stay in the NBA draft. But anytime Todd Golden and those teammates can get some time with Alex Condon, that's got to be a good thing for Florida.
Yeah, the Condon thing, Hayes, is going to be very interesting. They were also together in California. Condon loves the Gators. He loves Golden. He loves Hauck's his best friend, certainly here in the country. He would love to play for the Gators. He just got to make a financial decision. But I will tell you, every time I look up, they measure basketball players in their shoes, not barefoot. So they've done a. He's measured over 7 feet. He shot the ball better. I'm getting more nervous now. It's going to happen in 2 or 3 days, though. All the reports are about the 23rd or 24th. He's going to tell everybody. But yeah, it's good seeing him with all those guys. You hope it's not a swan song. I will tell you this: I was 90% sure he was coming back a month ago. Even after he announced he was going to test the waters. I'm more 50-50 now. Where are you on that?
I'll say it's 60% he goes back to Florida, 40% he stays in the draft. So tepid confidence.
Yeah, I'm there more than I was a month ago.
Because I just think financially, I think from a life standpoint, he wants to go back. Who wouldn't? I mean, what a year that's going to be for Alex Condon. But I also think it's more the financial. Like, you've got that money if you go back to Florida.
You're getting that guaranteed money. We did it the other day. If you're the 30th pick, you're going to get 2.6, 2.7. If you're not in the first round, who knows what you're getting? You go to Florida, you're getting 2.5. No questions asked.
Yeah. Staying with college basketball, Tennessee superstar guard Zakai Ziegler is suing the NCAA for more eligibility. His eligibility has expired, but he's not an NBA prospect. He's an excellent college player. And is suing, basically saying that he shouldn't age out of a business where he can make $2 to $4 million next year.
And this isn't Diego Pavia claiming that his JUCO year shouldn't count. This isn't a guy that lost a year to a knee injury who's claiming his redshirt year or second redshirt year shouldn't count. This is a guy that played 4 years there, just wants to play a fifth. I hope he loses because I would hate to see that precedent. And that's not because he's a Tennessee guy. I don't think I'd be rooting for a Florida guy to play. I mean, if Walter Clayton could come back, I'm obviously the Gator in me says that'd be awesome. But I don't know that Walter Clayton coming back would be good for basketball league.
Let's get to the NBA. Oklahoma City trounces Minnesota 114-88 in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. The Thunder forced 19 turnovers in the win. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led OKC with 31 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals. Game 2 is tomorrow night.
Yeah, they're the best team for a reason. And we weren't sure early on, but they've been the best team for a reason. They've got the best player, or certainly the most valuable player. No surprise there.
Yeah, SGA named MVP earlier today, led the league in scoring with 32.7 points per game, and obviously the Thunder were the 1 seed in the West, so a great season for him and worthy of MVP.
Yeah, he's a great player. He's a guy that once upon a time committed to the Gators.
That's right.
I mean, the MVP of the NBA. There's only 4 Gators in the NBA right now, and one guy that was almost a Gator is the MVP.
Hard to believe. Game 1 of the East Finals is tonight as Indiana travels to New York to face the Knicks. Who do you guys like tonight, and who do you like in the series?
JJ.
I like Indiana in the series. Tonight, I'll give it to the Knicks.
I think the Knicks are going to win the series. I'll take the Knicks.
Okay. Very good. Let's get to Major League Baseball. Break up the Pirates.
Oh, break them up.
who won 2 games since yesterday's
They brought out the Lumbers.
version of headlines when we talked about
brought out the Lumbers. What happened?
Yeah. Why don't you fill us in on what's happened with the Pirates since yesterday's show?
Last night when I lamented the fact that they haven't scored more than 4 runs in a game in 24 games in a row, they brought out the old, they used to call the Pirates the lumber company. The 70s Pirates, the Dave Parker, they were known as the lumber company. Well, the lumber company's back. Exploded last night for 6 hits and a run and won 1-0. Today, in case you haven't had enough of that, there's more where that came from. 3 runs today.
Wow, 4 runs since we've last
met. Oh my
met.
gosh, fireworks! I think they ran out of fireworks at the ballpark. There were so many runs, and back-to-back wins for the Pirates.
though?
So is it now 26 straight games?
It's 26. They have tied the 1931 somebodies and the 1969. 69 and 31 are the 2 people that have done this. If we can do it one more time, we'll have the record all to ourselves.
You can't blow it when you're this close.
Yeah. Is it bad that I'm now rooting for the record? Because I'm rooting for the. I mean,
it's cool that you could still win.
Yeah. Look, I will say this:
as you're breaking the record for being inept,
the disgusting 17 and 33 Pirates, who are a terrible team, have really good starting pitching. I mean,
lefty last night was great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, Falter shut him out. Yeah. But I will tell you that in Major League Baseball, a quality start is 6 complete innings, 3 earnings or fewer. So if you throw 6 innings and have 3 earned runs or less, that is considered a quality start. Almost every start. Almost every Pirate start is a quality. It's crazy. Almost every one. They lose most of them, but almost every one. So there you go. Break them up, for God's sake.
In college baseball, the Gators beat up on South Carolina 11-3 yesterday and now have won 18 of their last 23 games. UF plays Ole Miss tonight in the SEC tournament.
Sully's smarter than me. I was lamenting yesterday that he didn't start Liam Peterson as ace. Instead, he started Billy Barlow, a 5th or 6th best pitcher, and then he used a bunch of relievers. Well, he knew they were going to score. South Carolina's terrible, by the way. I mean, they're really bad. And he knew they were going to score a bunch of runs, and they did. Did not use any pitcher of significance. So now Liam Peterson goes tonight. Pierce Coppola goes in their next game. And you still have Aiden King, who I think might be their best pitcher, the freshman from Jacksonville. So, yeah, look, I'll say this. Hayes, they're playing really well, man. They are playing as well as any team in the United States of America right now. They really are.
UNF is playing North Alabama, I believe, right now in the A-Sun tournament, and that's to keep their season alive.
They were down 4-2. Hang on. They were down earlier, and I don't know where they left off, but they were. How about this? Middle of the 8th. They're down 13-11.
Oh wow!
In a shootout, they're down 13. This is an elimination game for the Ospreys, trying to stay alive. Down 13-11. They're the road team, so the North Alabama, the home team's now batting.
Okay, JU off today because they won yesterday. They're in the winners bracket, so they'll play tomorrow. So that is a look at the A-Sun tournament. In the world of golf, Scotty Scheffler is in the field for the Charles Schwab event this week on the PGA Tour.
Good for him.
It's not a Spieth in the field. It's not a great field. The Memorial is next week,
right.
Jack's event. So obviously that's an elevated event. This is not. But cool that Scotty Scheffler, it's in his backyard.
And
it's a Texas event.
It's in Dallas.
Yeah, but it'd be cool to see Scotty Scheffler fresh off the PGA Championship competing.
I love the fact that he is. He very easily could have just said, listen, I'm taking this week off. The Memorial's next week. But he said, there's people that count on me. This is my community. There's sponsors and friends that I'm sure friends and family friends are going to go watch him. He said, I'm playing. I thought that was really cool.
Absolutely. Defending Stanley Cup champion, the Florida Panthers cruised past Carolina 5-2 on the road last night to take home ice advantage in the East Final.
The team Jessica Blaylocks, they're going to go to the finals again, aren't they?
It looks
they
that
might
way.
just win the damn thing again.
Yeah, which would be 3 straight years in the Stanley Cup. And then obviously they won it last year. So they're fun to watch. They pretty much have it all. In terms of media, we always enjoy talking about what's going on in the world of media. Nick Saban, what can't he do? Wins an Emmy for outstanding personality / emerging on-air talent for his work with ESPN's Game Day.
Yeah, 2 thoughts. Number 1, congratulations to Nick. He is very good on Game Day. He was a good addition. The running joke at ESPN, and it's because he makes fun of himself, how Scott Van Pelt's never won an Emmy. Have you followed this story?
Right?
Yeah, he talks about how he's Emmyless. He's 0 for. And then he always goes to dinner afterwards. And and to his credit, he's made a joke about how he's never won. He said, I won again, over, lost again. Now, he goes to a diner and has breakfast late at night. But how's he not won?
That is surprising.
I think he's the best guy in ESPN.
Yeah,
I think he's the
really
best talent on the entertainment and sports programming network. I really do.
You know, he hasn't won individually, but my brother's won 2 for his Sports Center.
Oh,
so,
yeah?
like, their
Okay.
show
Oh, I didn't know that.
has won, but yeah, he hasn't won as, like, the host.
Yeah, I don't know how. I think he's the best talent on the network.
Yeah.
I really do.
That's really interesting. Let's get into pop culture because on this date, back in 1980, this happened.
If you only knew the power of the dark side, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No, I am your father.
What a bombshell
movie
when you
is
were
that?
a 4-year-old seeing your first movie in the theater, as I was. The Empire Strikes Back, released on this date back in 1980. I think, in my opinion, the best Star Wars movie ever made.
Yeah, I wasn't a Star Wars guy, but I'm a James Earl Jones guy. So does that count for something?
Absolutely. How good was that?
How good
That was your first movie.
First movie I saw in the
That
theater
is-
was Empire Strikes
I
Back.
didn't know that.
It's only downhill from there.
It really did.
But obviously one of the great series in movie history. No
Yeah,
doubt.
without a doubt.
Maybe the
Hard to
best
believe.
sequel of all time.
Yeah. And we will get you out on our musical note of the day because we will celebrate another anniversary. On this date, back in 1997, the Foo Fighters released their second album, The Color and the Shape. Man, it's hard to believe this album is 28 years old. The album consists of hits like Monkey Wrench and My Hero, but this song, Everlong, is considered the band's anthem. The Foo Fighters were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2021.
Yeah, Dave Grohl 2.0 and one of the great bands, certainly of his generation, no question about it. Well done as always. We'll be back. We'll wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The PGA Tour begins the Charles Schwab Challenge, played at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, Texas. Dallas native Scotty Scheffler is coming off a win at Quail Hollow in the PGA Championship, is the betting favorite. He's at plus 230. Daniel Berger and Jordan Spieth are plus 2,200. Tommy Fleetwood at plus 2,300. Hideki Matsuyama is at plus 2,500. Maverick McNeely is at plus 3,000. The Indianapolis 500 on Sunday. Pato O'Ward, the betting favorite to take the checkered flag at plus 450. Alex Palou has 4 wins this season, plus 550. Robert Schwartzman, the rookie who starts from pole position, is at plus 750. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Got a leaky faucet, AC blowing hot air, a funky smelling septic tank? No worries, Duck Duck Rooter has your back. We're your one-stop shop for plumbing, septic, and air conditioning, so you can stop juggling 3 companies and just make one easy call. Our expert techs are fast, friendly, and really know their ducks. I mean stuff. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, AC, and a whole lot of quacking good service.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
On Memorial Day, all of us at Harold and Harold join you and our community to pause and remember the sacrifice that fallen heroes made for this country and honor them for all they have given us. Offices, Jacksonville. An out-of-town lawyer could rent space and say they have an office here, but how does that help you after an accident? Harold and Harold is here for nearly 40 years, and we have the local relationships you need if you've been injured. Call Harold and Harold today. Offices, Jacksonville.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Come in, Linda.
Over.
We got a sea of new vehicles and they're priced so low they're rocking the boat. Come check out our biggest selection of inventory with prices that don't break the bank and our wow ya experience that will ensure smooth sailing for your next car purchase. Plus, take advantage of our peace of mind warranties, transparent pricing to provide you with a peace of mind. You better beat the surge and head to the all-new Beaver Toyota or Chevrolet for the car buying experience you deserve.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
New coaches, new players, new hope. Exactly. Follow 1010XL's coverage of organized team activities. Cooked up by Hurricane Grill and Wings and Heroes Lawn Care. Tune up the off-season with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
This spring, the action is non-stop at Best Bet St. Augustine. From heart-pounding daily high hands and tournaments to amazing table games promotions. But that's not all. Immerse yourself in the excitement of your favorite springtime sports at Aces Sports Bar, located in Best Bet St. Augustine. Enjoy a perfect blend of wings, beer, poker, and all the big games on our massive screens. For a full rundown of all the action and how you can be a part of it, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, Hicken here. So much of what makes us a family takes place in our homes. That's where Zero Res comes in. I love Zero Res, and this month get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet and air duct cleaner with May Mayhem. A 3-room special starting at $149 plus the 4th room is free. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean. Call Zero Res 28757 or go online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and say you want the Hicken special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. From now until May 28th, we're holding our big diamond sale, and now's the best time to buy a quality diamond of a carat or more. Here are a few reasons. First, there's severe upward pressure on rough diamonds, with 4 price increases already this year. Most of this has yet to hit the polished market, so they're diamonds for sale at the old prices. Next, our diamond cutters asked us to house their inventories of existing big diamonds so we could sell them here prior to them being offered to the jewelry trade in Las Vegas. This allows us the ability to sell from their vast stock at brokerage prices you have to see to believe. All of these diamonds are graded for cut, color, and clarity with independent laboratory grading reports. Now, along with this vast collection of big diamonds, we put all of our own meticulously selected loose diamonds and engagement-style rings on sale at prices from 3% to 25% off. We also take trade-ins, but remember, this sale ends May 28th at Underwood San Marco, Avondale, and the Shops of Ponte Vedra.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. 1010
Take.
The 1010 Take is sponsored by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck, duckduckrooter.com. I think the guy Ziegler, the Tennessee player, trying to get more than his 4 years is one of the worst things to happen to college basketball in a long time. No knock on Ziegler, but he wasn't a junior college player. He wasn't an injured player. There's no hardship. He's not coming from JUCO. He just wants to keep playing college basketball so he can keep making NIL money. Probably not going to play in the NBA, so he's probably at the end of his money-making stretch. I still think college players have to play 4 years and no more. I think we ruin the sport. We ruin the heritage. We ruin the tradition when we start asking players or allowing players to play more than their 4 years. No knock on Zakai Ziegler. He's a good player. But man, oh man, I hope like crazy he doesn't win this case. And that is the 10-10 take.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
We talked about Zakai Ziegler and the new College Sports Commission being recommended with Brett Hastings. That was Sports and Courts today. Look forward to doing that as always. We talked about Travis Hunter, how much he's going to wind up playing defense for those Jaguars as well as offense. We talked about, is the Florida basketball team really past the Florida football team in interest? It'll be interesting to see. And we talked about the tush push and other things going on in the NFL. That has been our conversation today. I got a question for you. I got the walk-off golf tournament coming up, by the way. A serious question, though, and we do want to remind people, we are filling out the field. Sponsorships are great. Thanks to Dailies. The Dailies Walk-Off Classic, our fourth one now, and our friends at Dailies are so awesome. So please go to walkoffcharities.com. We're going to have great auction items, as we always do. We're playing it at Deer Creek on June 9th, and I'm thrilled about that.
Which is a Monday?
It's a Monday, and I'm very, very excited about it. I'm very excited about the tournament, and we've had such a good year. We're so blessed to walk off the amount of 77 teams this year. 77 youth league teams. So we're really proud, and that's expensive. So we have to raise money to be able to continue to do it. So please play in our golf tournament. It's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. And you get to meet some of our young players who are in our leagues, and we just have a big time. So June 9th, and I know there's a lot of charity golf tournaments out there, and I get it. It's in the middle of the summer or the beginning of the summer. But if you want to play, we'd love to have you. Walkoffcharities.com. But I have a very serious question. So we're looking through auction items, okay? And we got a bunch of auction items. Jaguar stuff that the Jags are kind enough to help us with, and others. We've got some fun experience stuff. I mean, really good stuff. The Atlanta Braves. We got a jumbo shrimp suite that we're giving away. We've got all kind of fun Jaguar game stuff we're giving away. All the Savannah bananas everybody loves. We got a lot of fun stuff. But we're also giving away stuff from each team. Stuff with team. And I don't ask this. We have access to, and we want to give away Florida stuff, FSU stuff, Georgia stuff, Miami stuff. We want to reward all the fans or give all the fans a chance. I've got a Mike Norvell signed helmet, mini helmet. Would fans not want that because they're down on him? Would I be better off? So. No. Would I be better off to get Charlie Ward?
Well, yes.
Yeah, right. I mean,
yes.
But would people buy it? Well, I'll ask. I'm serious.
I think so. It's still the Florida State.
He's still
football
your football coach.
I mean,
right.
If you're a dad and you've got a young son or daughter that
he's still the football coach.
He's still the football coach at your
item.
school.
I
mean,
I wouldn't ask this next guy about to walk in to buy it. But,
no, I wouldn't. But I'm serious.
Right.
It's a serious question though.
Oh yeah, I think if you're I think it would. I think you're right on both accounts. You'd rather probably have Charlie Ward.
Right.
But if you're an FSU fan, I think it only takes one.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
I mean, he has done some good things for that school.
And we have a lot of Florida and FSU fans, both schools, a lot of both schools represented that play in our golf tournament. So we want to have as much stuff as we can from both, and Georgia, by the way. Awful lot of Georgia fans are going to be playing that thing too. So we're looking forward to that. Let's say hello to Rick Below.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
I will not ask my friend Rick Ballou if he would buy a Mike Norvell signed helmet. I won't ask you that. I'll stay away from that for you. But I will ask you this question. We had this conversation on our program.
The answer to that is yes, by the way.
Yes, you would.
I'd pay big dollars for that.
I know you would.
Let's continue.
I know you would. When the Carolina Panthers game is over on the first week of the regular season, it's 4:15 and the game just ended, and one of the two teams won 24-17. Hopefully the good guys. How much has Travis Hunter played? How much defense has he played? Your opinion. When it's 4:30 that day, how much defense has he played, in your opinion?
If you had asked me that 2 weeks ago, my number would have been drastically different. But after seeing his legs, okay, I'm going to say less than 10 plays on defense.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I think he plays almost every play on offense.
Okay.
But I think he's going to play around 10 plays on defense.
See, I think way more. Well, you think?
Okay. Hey, listen. Who knows?
And we don't know. That's exactly right. And you know what? You're right. We don't. We're all guessing.
But the legs have me concerned
because he's thin.
Charles Davis made a really good point when I had him on a couple of weeks ago. Charles, as we know, is going to replace Gary Danielson in a year with Brad Nessler. But he says he thinks in 2 or 3 years, when he really begins to fill out, he's going to be able to play that much more both ways. And when he said it to me, I hadn't seen, I saw him at Colorado and I saw him, in street clothes. But then when I saw him out there at the Miller Electric Center, I was like, gosh, man, those legs. I just can't see him playing play after play after play, being that small in the lower body. So, Davis thinks year 2, year 3, he'll turn that around dramatically. Right now, I'm going to take the under on defensive plays.
Interesting. And he is very.
Hope I'm wrong, by the way.
Yeah.
I do.
See, when you see him and haven't seen him before, he's very lean looking. Probably leaner than I expected, but the way he moves and
that's fun.
The agility of it, and he's always. He's never looked frail as a football player. I can tell you that. So, but it'll be an interesting take. That'll be one of the fun things to watch.
Yeah,
coming up on the season.
Our friend Dave Campo, because Dion was always hollering to play offense. Dave Campbell is one of those who believes that it's easier to get injured as a corner than it is as a wide receiver.
Interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting stuff. All right, what's coming up tonight?
Ton tonight. A lot of football, some good stuff. It was a big day for Jacksonville with the. The division rankings and playoff seedings not going through. So, I still think you win 9 games, you can win the AFC South and you host a playoff game.
Looks like that's going to be the case. Rick, we appreciate it. Rick Ballou, he goes into the night, and that comes up right now. Folks, that'll do it for our program. We're out of here. Don't go anywhere. Into the night comes up right now. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. For Hayes and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.